Is a $19 HDMI capture device any good? Let's find out. So as I continue making new videos for this channel, it really became obvious that I needed to get some sort of video capture device. And I picked this one up on Amazon for 19 bucks, and we're going to see if it's any good. So looking at the specs here, the box it comes in obviously is pretty generic and actually lists specs for like 6 different products here, none of which are this one, so that's fun. The picture on it shows the device accurately enough and says HDMI video capture with loop out. So we're going to go ahead and pop it open, see what's inside. Now this is not really an unboxing channel, as I keep saying, but I have to take things out of the boxes, so whatever. You get this cable. It's actually 2 cables. This has a USB power port as well as a USB port to connect into the device you're recording to. And what it doesn't come with is any HDMI cables. So in order to use it, you need to have 2 HDMI cables, one coming from the device you're recording and going to this, and the other one going from this to your monitor. So here's one of the USB cables, the other USB cable, and these aren't really long enough for my purposes, so I went ahead and got my own USB power cord and was able to use that. So you can see the side of it here, the output in the USB and the input and USB power side. Alright, and one of these cameras that I'm working on came with a really long micro USB power cord that is power only. It does not have data, so this is exactly the right job for it, since this does not need data, just the power. So go ahead and plug that up, and we'll get some HDMI cables and get it all connected. And we're going to go ahead and start with the Raspberry Pi 4, which has a micro HDMI output on it. So we'll just go ahead and get that plugged in and get the output side plugged in. Obviously you need to use an adapter to plug in a regular HDMI cable, but we'll go ahead and get that plugged in and we will have video from the Pi coming right up. So the first thing we're going to do, we're booting the Pi up, and I've got the video out going to a laptop running OBS, and we're going to go ahead and boot the Pi into the desktop, and we're going to test the latency. So we'll just get to that real quick. And of course we're letting the Pi boot up in fast forward here because it's not particularly fast. We are running Ubuntu server with the Kubuntu desktop packages installed. So here we are at a desktop. Let's get a web browser open. Now we've got the output being displayed on a laptop as well as on the monitor, and what we're going to do is use a tool that's provided by the OpenIPC project, which I'm using in some of my other videos, that will quickly display a timer, and by taking a photo of both screens at the same time, you can see what the latency is between when it's displayed on the monitor and when it's displayed on the video stream. So we'll just fire that up real quick, and here you see the time ticking by. Now in theory you can pause the video, but I'll take a snapshot. Alright, as you can see, the display on the monitor was 15,476 and on the laptop it was 15,341, so we have a latency of about 135 milliseconds, which is not that bad. Alright, and since we're on a Raspberry Pi, we can't do anything too difficult, but let's try out the original Quake. So we do have the audio being recorded through the HDMI recorder as well, as you can hear here. And I'm not going to claim to be the best Quake player in the world. It's been quite a few years since I've played it seriously, but I'm not the worst either. And here we are displaying at a fairly low resolution in a window. That's about all that the Raspberry Pi 4 is able to do, at least with the video drivers and OpenGL libraries that are installed on the server version of Ubuntu here. So just run around for a second here, shoot a couple of people. All right, go down the elevator. If you don't like harm happening to animals, look away, because this dog's gonna bite me. All right, so that's the original Quake running on Raspberry Pi 4. All right, next up we have some local file playback that I'm playing on my Mac. And as we move around here, you can definitely see some artifacting happening there. There's some obvious signs of compression. And as we move around a little bit, it's a little bit jerky. The video's not super smooth to begin with, but it definitely looks a little bit better than this if you watch it either directly or this video is uploaded to YouTube on my other channel. But you can see it's pretty good actually, especially given the price. I'm not really upset with this. So let's go ahead and try something directly from YouTube. Now this video is playing in a browser from YouTube on my ThinkPad, and I'm recording it using OBS on my Mac. So we've kind of covered all of the bases here. And once again, you can see a little bit of artifacting in there, but it's not too bad. You can definitely tell what's going on. And here comes the fish. All right, get in the boat, you fish. You're going home with us. All right, and as you can see, it is pretty good. So let's go ahead on to the next thing. Now that little bit of Quake that we played on the Raspberry Pi doesn't really show off how well this thing can do games. So here we've got Quake 3 Arena running on my ThinkPad. Now this is running in the full 1080p full screen, and you can see we also have the FPS counter up in the top right there. And obviously the recorder is not recording at that rate, but you can see how it handles it on the recorder, where you definitely have a little bit of tearing going on. I could probably help that with some Vsync, but in this case, we just went ahead and let it run at its maximum frame rate. So overall, I would say that I am a fan of this little guy. The price on it was definitely right, and I feel that the quality is going to be more than adequate for the types of content that I create, and I'm definitely looking forward to using it in some new types of video production. The killer feature for me on this device is that it's compatible with all my computers, and the latency is low enough that you can even use it for live broadcast. I've got a couple of videos I'm working on that had to be put on hold until I was done with this review, so I'm really looking forward to getting those out quickly. My video backlog has been growing, and I hope you'll subscribe to see those when they come out. If you need a HDMI recording device, I've put a link in the video description. Of course, throw any questions or comments down there as well. And if you're into hardware hacking, little Linux boxes, or things like that, join us over at the Discord channel. That link's down there too. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.